You can ask me your questions.
All right, man. What's up? What's up with it? You
What's
feel
up?
me?
Hey.
So this is the second rendition of our podcast. You feel me? And like we said last time, we're gonna be going through different subjects: hip hop, life, sports. But today is anime. You feel me? And I finally got my friend here to watch Naruto. He's on season 4, episode 1. And I just have a couple questions for him. You feel
Episode
me?
2.
Oh
Homie.
yeah, episode 2.
Homie.
We just finished watching episode 1.
Yeah.
But so yeah. Before I ask you any of the questions I have, I just want you to go through like what you think about it so far, and let me know. You feel me?
Bro, this show is so. This show is awesome, man.
Took him forever to finally watch it. He finally watched it, and now he understands why we love Naruto so much. You feel me?
This show is crazy.
I mean, for me, I'll just give you a quick rundown. I started watching the show when it first came out. On what was I watching it on? I was watching it on Toonami, and yeah, and then ever since then, I was like hooked, man. I could not stop watching the show. Followed it every week. I followed it online, everything, and yeah, I grew up with it. And then when Shippuden came out, I sort of fell off. I moved and stuff like that, and then I just started watching it online. As stuff came out. The only thing I missed was the last Great Ninja War, which is like the very last chapter. But I watched it finally, like maybe 3 years ago, so some like that amount of time, and man, oh man, it was a great ending to a story. It could have been better, but it was a great ending to the story, and I was like, this show is just like my childhood, basically. Was like Dragon Ball Z to me when I was like growing up in Panama. So yeah, but enough about me. Let's get back to this kid and see what he thinks about it.
Yeah, this question.
All right.
Yo. So, I'm watching Naruto on Netflix right now. And when Netflix is done, they've cut out like every single
The filler. Yeah.
every single filler episode. So that's why, like, I'm gonna finish this episode or this series in like 2 days before I get on to Shippuden.
Yeah.
So I'm super happy about that.
I'm glad that he doesn't have to go through the pain of watching the filler, but at the same time, the filler in Naruto is kind of different because a lot of it is like tying the different stories that branched off, tying it together, and like really giving you a full picture of the whole story. I mean, some of the filler is like that. Another filler is just like stupid filler, like how Dragon Ball Z does it. But yeah. But the first question I have is, I guess you kind of answered it already, but let's see what your answer is. What do you think about the series so far?
It's good, man. It's super fun. I like I like at the beginning how they had Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura. I fucking hate Sakura so much. I hate her.
Oh
The
man,
most useless character I've ever seen in my entire life.
I'm glad he agrees with all of us.
Oh my god. But I like I like how they brought those three together because their personalities mesh so well. It's like Naruto's the passion, Sasuke's the power, and Sakura's the intelligence. So you have all these three things, and then if you have these three things, you lack nothing.
Mm-hmm.
As far as team mechanics and even down to an individual level.
Mm-hmm.
If you have smarts, power, and passion, you can do anything. So I like how they tied those three personalities together and is like exploring them, and how they never really deviate from that base, while their childish nature goes away. Obviously, they still have those traits, and that's cool.
All right. I'm messing with that. I guess I mean, I can't really speak to what I thought when I was a little kid when I was watching it, but I definitely saw that like it was a completely different take on like how all the different anime are kind of the same. It was completely different like how they did it. So I do agree with you on that. And then what next question would be like, what do you think about the characters?
Uh, I love all the character designs.
Mm-hmm.
Character designs are really dope. Um, they've done a really good job at making each character feel like their own individual. Like I like how at first they flesh out Naruto's story and then they're like, oh man, I feel for him. But then they do that for every other character except for Sakura. They do that for every other character. And it's like, oh my gosh, yo, if I was Gaara, I would have killed every single last person.
Yeah,
without
definitely.
a doubt.
Yeah, like everybody has that backstory where you're like, dang, you're trash, but I know why you're trash, and if I was in that same situation, I'd be definitely hot garbage.
I'd be super trash if I was Gaara.
So yeah, I get you on that.
And then what else you call it? Yeah, Sakura's backstory just annoyed me because it was so shallow with her and Ino.
Yeah,
it's so fucking shallow.
It is what it is
like,
with them, though.
Ino's like, hey, you're alone. Let me be your friend. I'll be like your best friend in the world. She's like, okay, well, you like the same boy as me? We're eternal enemies. I'm like, yo.
Yeah.
I'm getting notification. Okay.
Sorry. Yeah. Definitely Sakura is a shallow hoe, you feel me? And she is a bane of the existence of the show. At least in my view. I mean, she doesn't, as a character, she doesn't bring anything to the table.
She has a few cool moments. They did give her a few cool moments, in my opinion.
Nah, I feel like all those were just token moments because people really hated her.
Yeah.
Like, when the show was, like, going on, people still did not like her. And this is, like, going on for, like...
I can't imagine sitting through every week or however long it was waiting for an episode, and then you had to get a Sakura episode.
Yeah,
I can't even...
Exactly.
Oh my, I can't even imagine that.
Yeah, when Sakura and Ino fought in the Chunin exams, we were all like, what the heck? End it. You feel me?
I'm tired.
We were not about it.
I don't care about your backstory.
For real.
Don't.
And it was like what, 3 episodes of backstory, but that's 3 weeks. That's like 3 weeks, bro. And then their fight lasted another 2. So yeah, but yeah, Sakura's not the best character that they had on the show. I feel like they were trying to do something with her, and then like they just failed miserably on it, and then like
unless they were trying to make her like a hated character, then it worked.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
unless like the person who made Naruto was like, you know, I have a Sakura in my life. Let me call her out on the show.
Call her ass out. So, let me call this thought out for a second. So, my next question would be same thing about characters, but which character speaks to you the most, I guess?
So, when I was a kid, Naruto was definitely me. Mm-hmm. Especially in like middle school, no one wanted to be around me, because I was always like super hyperactive and I didn't listen, and yeah, I just didn't pay attention in class. I always had really good grades though, but I was just always messing around, like so much so that in 4th grade they told me I couldn't come back to the school. Well, they told my mom. They obviously didn't tell the little kid, but they told my mom that I couldn't come back unless I was on some sort of medication.
Damn.
And we're all like, no way, because I went through all the what do you call it? The side effects of the medicine when I was like in 3rd grade, and it was bad. But when I went to the new school, which specializes in like, you know, learning disabilities or just not being able to function in like a regular class environment properly, I went to a school like that. It's called Kentwood. Now it's called AEF, but basically my first year there at a school specialized in that, I was so bad they kicked me out not even halfway through the year. Like they kicked me out of class to put me into a specials class, and I had to be there for like the majority of my first year. Damn. I wasn't even in my home class, and then when I tried to get back in my home class, like I was standing outside, and then like I was about to walk back inside to get reintroduced to the class. Like, hey everyone, Khalil's gonna come back. Literally everyone in the class. I'm not exaggerating. Every person in the class There's probably like 20 kids. We're like, no! And what made it worse is that my first crush at that school, she was one of the loudest ones saying no. Like that
Shit.
broke my heart.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, that broke my heart.
That's crazy.
So seeing Naruto,
oh my
it's like
gosh.
me looking at myself and like, man, I wish I had Naruto's passion.
Yeah.
Because I was too focused on, and I guess in a sense, he's focused on being cool at the beginning. Because he's like, I want everyone to recognize me. In a sense, that's trying to be cool. So I was always trying to be cool until I got to high school. And then I became Sasuke. Right? Because all the girls were always swarming around Sasuke. And Naruto had to be on the outside like, oh, boy. That was me in middle school. In high school, I turned into Sasuke. Because I think I started to imitate people that I wanted to be, that had the personality traits that I wanted. Like Eminem, like my friend Ethan, who always had some girl on his arm all the time.
Crazy.
And I was always like, how do you do that? They just come to you from nowhere. It's like they smell you and they're on you. Like, what are you doing, bro?
They're all over you.
He's like, I don't know, man. And yeah, I think I always looked up to him, and then I developed my personality, knowingly or unknowingly, I'm not really sure, but I eventually developed my personality into him. And Ethan was like Sasuke, and I became sort of that. And now where I am now, I'm kind of like a mix between the two, which is pretty cool. So I guess to go back to the original question of who
speaks to you the most,
who speaks to me the most, it'd probably be those two. I don't really have a single character.
Yeah, I mean, you know just
go ahead.
Oh, my bad. It's not really like I don't feel like people would fit directly into one personality trait. I feel like it's a combination of multiple things.
Yeah.
Because you've been in different situations in your life, right? So
it's like seeing just this variety of different experiences and how these characters interact with it, and then you sort of see yourself in their interactions. So like every character is an individual, and it feels real.
Exactly.
Which makes this story so compelling.
Exactly. And that's why it's like such a revered anime, because it's like you could see yourself in any given moment or wherever you are in life. Even if you're a little kid, you could see yourself in said situation and see how you would react the way that they're reacting, or how would you react if you think that they reacted the wrong way. I mean, for me personally, when I was going through middle school, elementary school, I didn't really have too much of a personality traits of Sasuke, because I did not have any girls around me. I was not cool. I was the goofiest kid, and I mean, I like to make people laugh and stuff. So that was me, and I wasn't particularly.
Yeah, you made them laugh, all right.
Yeah, I made them laugh any way I could. I was a class clown, and I wasn't really focused on school. I didn't care much for it. And it wasn't because I was stupid. It's just because I didn't care about it. And yeah, so I guess now looking back on it, like I said it before that when I was in high school, like, oh, I was a Sasuke. But nah, I probably was more of as a young kid, I was probably more of a Rock Lee. Had no talent. I didn't fit in with anyone. People made fun of me. I couldn't speak English until I was like 5 or 6. Well, perfectly, and like that stuff, I wasn't fully developed in this country, so yeah, I would like what's the word for it? I would be more like Rock Lee in that regard, and then later on, middle school and high school, I would feel more like a Neji, only because I felt like I was always caged. I was always held back. I was always put down and not good enough, which is a lot of what Neji embodies. He's a smart dude. He's one of the smartest guys in the village.
Oh yeah, Neji's dope.
And he's comparable to Sasuke. And you don't see him with a whole bunch of people. He's really a loner and stuff like that. So that's what I would have.
Do they ever get to fight?
Who? Neji and Sasuke?
Yeah.
No, they don't. Not that I know of. No. But yeah, Neji was what I was like going through middle school and high school, and now, I mean, like I don't hang out with people that much, and I don't really have friends. He's like my only friend, really, and I don't really have a lot. Like I still don't have a lot of girls around me. I don't do any of that stuff. So I guess I'd still be like an older version of Neji because it's the same thing for him.
He's being modest. He's got girls around him.
I don't. So I've always been the ugly guy in the group. So I'm cool off that. But moving on. So that's just how this series how it spoke to us and how it would have spoken to him if he was watching it when he was younger.
Yeah.
But
my mom would not let me. I couldn't watch Harry Potter when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So now I'm catching up. Which, in my mom's point of view, I completely understand.
Exactly.
Show's got mad.
Yeah, imagery,
mad stuff
symbolism, and all that stuff. And there's more to come. He's only watched Naruto. He hasn't even watched Shippuden stuff.
That reanimation technique was scary.
My mom would have known I was watching this when I was a kid. Boy, oh boy,
and
my
that
ass.
Grim Reaper, man. That was
the Reaper Decio, boy.
Crazy moves.
Get you, boy.
Love that.
But I guess this question goes with the one I just asked, which would be...
Hold on. I really wanted to see Neji and Gaara fight.
Oh.
Because Gaara was so scared. And I wanted him to get that work, man.
Oh, man.
I'm glad it ended with Naruto fighting him. Because he was like, I was the same as you. Yeah. And look how our paths diverted.
Exactly.
Because I have friends and you don't.
Oh my gosh.
That was so cool. That was like a perfect ending to that.
Man.
That was great.
Unfortunately, I will tell you that if Gaara and Neji would have fought at that time, Neji would have definitely got his ass whooped.
Yeah, no, I see that.
Yeah, Gaara would have destroyed them. There's nothing he could have done. I mean, he's not as fast as Rock Lee, and Rock Lee was going lightning, like he was going like fast. So yeah, but the next question would be, how do you think this show would have helped you develop if you would have watched it when you were a kid? How do you think your personality would have been different? Or
that's crazy.
Anything?
I was thinking about that too. I think the show. I think everyone should watch this show. Mm-hmm. Like. Even if you've watched it before, it's got a lot of themes in it that I think people didn't necessarily pick or wouldn't have necessarily picked up when they were younger. Mm-hmm. And it's really there's some pockets in the show that are really deep and like really speak to you as a person. Like no matter what you're going through, it like. I feel like I'm not explaining this well, but like...
You're just saying things in general, but I understand what you're going for.
I'm trying to bring up a specific... Like, even when they're talking about, like... when they were talking to Gaara, how Gaara's like, oh, I'll find my strength in myself. And then they're like, no, you find your strength when you're fighting for others. That's when real strength comes in. That's when your courage comes in. That's when, even when you're afraid, you're still going to jump in and save the people that you love. That's real strength because that comes from inside. It's not your muscles. It's not your power. It's your spirit, and that's that's powerful to me. And there's just like a lot of good lessons about being a community and being a family with each other and wanting to fight for each other and. I don't know if there's necessarily a lot of that mentality going around right now.
Yeah.
Of just like accepting others, not on as wide a scale as I'd like to see. But I mean, obviously, there's communities that have that, but I don't think it's on as big of a scale as we'd all like to see. And I think that would have, I don't know how much it would have helped me as a kid, because I kind of like, even him, like we've been taught at least some of these concepts.
Exactly.
And these are like
at face value, at least.
Yeah, at face value. So the concepts that they teach in here are kind of branching concepts of like the original, and how they kind of work into everyday life.
Exactly, like real life, like actual scenarios.
Yeah.
Not just someone telling you, "Oh, you should do this, this, and that. This is what you should do."
So it's like seeing that example, I think, would have helped push my mind further to understanding the concept and allow me to implement that into my life more.
True.
It took me 4 years to get it, so I mean, it's cool. But yeah, no, this definitely would have been a cool show for me as a kid to watch, and it would have added more. It would have led to me accepting myself earlier. I think, from my own experience. I'm not saying this show is gonna help you find yourself right now.
Exactly.
But it would have. I think as a kid, the way my mind was set up and is still sort of set up, it would have led me to releasing some of my insecurities and my own self-perceived faults. So
yeah, and I definitely agree with that. When I was a kid, because I didn't really have that many friends, I used to watch shows, man. Part of that was because I was still trying to learn how to speak English, and that's just how I learned how to speak English. But I liked watching the interactions humans had with each other, even if it was staged. Which is why that's what I like to do.
You can't let them know you're an alien, man. Save people. Okay? Save people. You can't.
My bad.
You can't blow the whistle like Cat, bro.
My bad.
Seeing the way that humans interact with each other.
No!
I couldn't speak English, should I tell you that?
I am not an alien. But what I'm saying is, I just like to see how people interacted with each other. And